I know we are knee-deep into the big dance, and I've got two more complimentary plays coming your way in just a moment. I'm going to take a look at the games between Michigan and Houston, Texas Tech and Florida. But listen, I want to talk about baseball. No, not about the NBA playoffs. There's a lot of money to be made there too, and they're going to be starting up in just about a month from now. But baseball, just a couple of weeks around the corner. Listen, as I tell you all the time, the first 3 weeks of any season, it's the only time we have the advantage over the odds makers, because that's when you're going to find the lines are always going to be softest, because they have no more idea what to expect at the start of the season than you or I. So we have the advantage. But in baseball, it's the best time of the year. Listen, baseball is the easiest sport to make money in. It is the most profitable sport to make money in. It's my best sport to make money in. It's always been that way. And yet, if we were to have a big pizza and 100% of those people that eat that pizza are football gamblers, here at this time of the year, about 75% of those people that are eating that pizza, you're still playing college hoops. But come NBA playoffs, there's only about 25% of you left at the table that are betting the NBA. And come baseball, there's only about 10-15% of you that are betting baseball. Why? Damned if I know. It's just like people in my business. Probably about 85% of the handicappers disappear. Disappear once March Madness is over. They're lazy. They're dumb. They don't want to put in the effort, because baseball takes a little effort. And yet, it's because of the patterns that develop, because of the repetitiveness that develops. It's the dog days of summer, but it's the easiest time to make money. But especially in the first 3 weeks. So remember, right now, it's the time where I'm looking at all the starting pitchers as they start to work 4-5 innings against rosters that have been pared down. The guys that aren't going to be in the major leagues are getting sent away. This is the time, the next couple of weeks, that makes you money come April. So just keep that in mind as baseball harkens. Jack Raymond won again last night. Props going out to him as he cashed in with yet another 200 dime release. So congratulations to him as he continues his red hot roll. Who was it last night that he scored with 200 dime play? Oh, College of Charleston scoring with the cover against Auburn. And FYI, today he goes for winning day number 10 out of 13 with top rated 100 dime winner number 28 out of 42 and 16 out of 23 this year alone. Second round game of the year. You get it for over half price off. It goes on the nighttime guard. And Eric Schrader. Jack and Eric just keep bouncing back and forth here with major wager winners over the past 3 weeks or so. Today, Eric Schrader, 8th ever 200 dime college basketball release of his career as he goes for winning day number 44 out of 67 and 29 out of 41 in that little streak. And over the past 66 days, he has made $10 bettors $22,440. Not a bad little run. And you get it for over half price off by using coupon code ERIC. Had a 200 dime play with Loyola of Chicago out right over Miami of Florida on Thursday. Last Sunday it was Georgia State over UT Arlington. You've gotten them for all over half price off. And Anthony Red, who hit a 100 dime play on Thursday with Buffalo out right over Arizona. First ever 200 dime play since he joined this site. I had to go back forever to check the records on this one. He joined this site June 14th, 2009. First 200 dime play ever in basketball. Second 200 dime play ever in any sport, period, since he joined the site back in 2009. And he's been wearing those stupid little hats the entire time since he's been here at the site. He's got it going today. And Anthony, Jack, and Eric, they're all in different games today. It's the half price play of the day by using coupon code 200DIMER, 200DIMER. Sing it after me. You can get all your other discounts and promo codes over on the homepage. Let's get to your complimentary plays. I think this Michigan game against Houston is a very interesting one to talk about. Listen, Michigan got the cover. I used them as a complimentary play against Montana on Thursday. Did Michigan look good in that game? No. But as I pointed out in talking about that game in Thursday's video, I thought that they were going to be hindered by the long layoff because the Big Ten tournament moved up their tournament a week once again because they wanted to have access to Madison Square Garden for crowd purposes, for attendance purposes, for TV purposes. It certainly suited their purposes, but I think it also hurts the teams coming out of the Big Ten tournament, just like it hurts a lot of the smaller, mid-major, and smaller conferences, because they suffer from the after effects of having such a long layoff between the conference tournament game and opening up in the big dance. And you saw Michigan look so sluggish. Hell, the Wolverines fell down 10-0 to Montana. And even though they pulled away and they won that game 61-47 as an 10-point favorite, 11-point favorite, it was a really pathetic performance. But they got their 10th straight win. It was a game that slogged on forever. It didn't start till almost like 10 o'clock that night. Didn't finish till after midnight. But they knocked the rust off. And now they're taking on a Houston team that, of course, got the job done 67-65 over San Diego State, thanks to Rob Gray's career-high 39 points. Now listen, Rob Gray had a phenomenal game, so props to him. But Rob Gray, I've watched him repeatedly this season. It's one of the few times he's come through in a big game. This is a guy who scored 20 points over his season average. He had been averaging 25.5 points in his past 8 games. He scored 39. His teammates totaled 28 in that contest. Houston, a tenacious defensive team. Michigan led the Big Ten in defense this year, giving up 62.9 points a game, I think it is. I say Michigan comes out here, another low-scoring game, but Michigan has a great defensive stopper in the backcourt, Xavier Simpson, who played a hell of a lot of top-notch guards in the Big Ten this year. And I say that Gray and Houston is unable to duplicate his offensive performance against San Diego State as he did on Thursday. I say Michigan plays a much better game offensively this time, since they knocked off the rust after that 10-11 day layoff. And I think Michigan minus the 3.5 points is the way to go. You know, this line is anywhere from 3 to 3.5 as I do this video report at 11 o'clock Eastern time here. I think this is a game where normally I advocate playing the favorites early and the underdogs late. I think that you wait as the day progresses, because I think this line will settle right around 3 points. It's not falling under. So if your book has 3.5, but I'm telling you there's 3s out there, I think you wait. The other game, let's talk about Texas Tech and Florida. You have two teams that primarily run 4-guard attacks. What could be the difference in this game is the location. It's being played at the American Airlines Arena in Dallas. Lubbock, Texas is about a 6-hour drive. This is going to be a pro-Red Raider crowd here, just as it was for Texas Tech when they beat Stephen F. Austin, even though Stephen F. Austin is closer to Dallas than Lubbock is. And the Raiders, did they play well against Stephen F. Austin? No. They were down by 7 with 10 minutes to play. They were down by 1 with 4 minutes to play, but they got the job done. They won that game 70-60. Florida looked great against St. Bonaventure, 77-62. Outscored them 24-10 in fast break points. Scored 25 points off 18 turnovers, which kind of surprised me when you consider the St. Bonaventure with that veteran backcourt with Jalen Adams and Matt Mobley, how poorly they fared. But I think in this game, the Texas Tech will more than hold its own. This is a great Texas Tech defense. They led the Big 12 in scoring defense. They were 15th in the nation in scoring defense, giving up just 64.7 points a game. Led the Big 12 in field goal defense, holding opponents to just 40.3% shooting from the field. Finished second in the Big 12 in field goal three-point defense at 32.8. The one thing about Florida, for as good as the Gators looked offensively against St. Bonnie, you never know what you get from this Florida team game to game offensively. What I did like from Texas Tech, though, although they certainly didn't look great against Stephen F. Austin, is the fact that Keenan Evans really had another strong game, scoring 19 of his 23 points in the second half, hitting all 6 of his shots from the floor to go with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. Texas Tech a 2-point favorite, and to me, as I said, it's more or less a home game for the Red Raiders, so I'm willing to lay the 1.5 and 2 points with them in this particular contest. Another game for you, Tennessee and Loyola of Chicago. Listen, great story, Loyola of Chicago, right? Beating Miami of Florida. But listen, you know, Miami of Florida hasn't been the same Hurricanes team ever since they lost Brown, one of their top 2 players. Once they lost him and they were basically down to Lonnie Walker, And Loyola of Chicago, great story. Magnificent finish. If they don't hit that three-pointer, we wouldn't be talking about them today, right? So I look at this game, and Loyola Chicago made me a lot of money from the Missouri Valley Conference this year. But Missouri Valley Conference, SEC. Tennessee made me a lot of money this year, too. And I'm telling you, the Vols are a hell of a lot better than any team from the Missouri Valley Conference. And Tennessee put a smackdown on Wright State. I gave you Tennessee on Thursday as a complimentary play. They held the Wright State Raiders to 31.7% shooting that game. Now, I did tell you on Thursday's video report that, according to KenPom.com, Wright State came into this game, or came into the tournament as the worst ranked team in terms of adjusted offensive efficiency, and they certainly showed it against Tennessee. So it was a combination of Tennessee's defense and Wright State's inability to do anything offensively that contributed to Tennessee's blowout victory in that game. I look at Loyola Chicago and I see a team that is good, doesn't hit the rack hard, doesn't get a lot of second chance opportunities because of its inability to do a good job on the boards. I see a Tennessee team that is big up front, that has strong guard play, that defends the perimeter well. And that's important against Loyola Chicago because they love shooting three-pointers, and they are very effective doing so. Of course, they had 8 three-pointers, including the game winner. Was it 8 or 10? I can't remember. They had 8 three-pointers, it was. 8, yes. 8 for 21 against Miami of Florida. So I think all the metrics are there to go with Tennessee, and I think it's a fairly priced game at 5.5 points. So I like Tennessee in this one, but here's another game. It tips off at 6:10 Eastern Time. I think the public sentiment favors Loyola of Chicago so much. You already see some sports books with 5s out there. If I'm betting Tennessee, I'm waiting till the day progresses because I don't think this game is going up. Worst case scenario, you're getting Tennessee at 5.5. I'm waiting. If I can't grab the 5 now, I think the move gravitates towards you and makes it more beneficial to wait to play the favorite till later in the day and get Tennessee probably at 5 if you can't get them already at 5. So with the 3 selections, how do I rate them? I like Michigan and Tennessee on the top line, and I would like Texas Tech on the second line. Some of the other games today, I handicapped Rhode Island and Duke. Rhode Island, nice that they beat Oklahoma, but my God, the Sooners sucked the entire second half of the season, having to go into overtime and beat them. It was a nice story. Now they're going to go up against a Duke team that looked good at times in a blowout win against Iona, but they should have blown out Iona. Problem with Rhode Island, they have no size. Absolutely none whatsoever. It'd be tempting to take Rhode Island plus 9.5 points, but, you have to wonder, Duke, do they decide to show up? Do they decide to play the entire 40 minutes today? That's the problem with that particular contest. So that was the other game that I had handicapped today. I looked at the early NIT game, believe it or not, between Notre Dame and Penn State. I think Notre Dame minus 5.5 points playing at home today is a great play in that game against Penn State. Penn State is not the same team since they lost their big guy, Mike Watkins, who averages like 12 points and almost 9 rebounds a game. He's their leading rebounder. So I think Notre Dame will have its way inside. Tony Carr, the leading scorer for Penn State, 2 points in their victory against Temple in the last round, 14 combined points in the past 2 games. They need him scoring 20-some points a game in order to be competitive at this stage. And I don't think he's going to get it, the job done here offensively today against a Notre Dame team that, rolled over Hampton in its NIT opener playing at home. So I like Notre Dame minus the 5.5 points here at home against Penn State. A matter of fact, you know what? I originally intended to use that as a complimentary play, so let me just revise my complimentary plays here. On that top line, I would give you Michigan, Tennessee, Notre Dame, and Texas Tech would be the other selection there. Because I think that Irish game at 5.5 points, I think that is very fairly priced. I like Notre Dame there too. So that'll do it for Saturday. I wish you well, guys, and talk to you again tomorrow when we do this.